flag of the United States of America,
That's
and to the republic
which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Roll call of the members. Councilor Janino.
Here.
Here. Councilor Guanasso.
Here.
Here. Councilor McKenna.
Yes, here.
Here. Councilor Morbido.
Here.
Here. Councilor Novoselsky.
He's here.
Is here. Councilor Powers.
Here.
Here. Councilor Rotundo.
Present.
Here. Councilor Sereno.
Here.
Here. Councilor Visconti. Here. Councilor Zambudo.
Here.
Here. And Council President Keefe.
Here.
Here. Quorum is present. Approval of the journal of the regular meetings of June 22nd and June 29th.
All in favor? Aye. So ordered.
So moved, Mr. President.
Pardon me? So moved, yes. Madam Clerk and fellow councilors, we have a few unfortunate incidents that have passed in the last few weeks, and I just wanted to talk about them both together. We lost a former attorney, Attorney Antonio Abini Jr. He was a former school committee member, legal counsel to the school board, and assistant city solicitor to the city of Revere. The city, and we wanted to take up a moment of silence, but also while we're doing that, I wanted to bring up, there was one more that was very important, not just to the city, but really important to me. My next door neighbor of 16 years, a woman that was very much like a grandmother to me, and my children especially, over the last 16 years, Loretta Ravano. Loretta is the mother of our election commissioner, Diane Colella, also Lisa Licata, and also survived by her son, John, and many grandchildren, Vito, who I know very well, and Adriana, and Jared, but and of course her late son Carmen, who she loved very much, and he was also my neighbor. So I'm going to miss you, Loretta, and I know that I'd like to just send my heartfelt condolences to the family. If we could have Mr. Councilor Rotundo.
I'd like to also join in that moment of silence for Yassine Butt, who
Correct.
Unfortunately and sadly died murdered
Right.
down at Shake and Twist.
And thank you. And Councilor Morbido also had one, but
Also, if I can add, Cosmo Kalala, who passed away suddenly a couple of weeks ago.
really, I was unaware of that. So if we could take a moment of silence for these individuals that have passed. Thank you. Thank you.
Calendar item number 4, Robert Hunt will conduct a presentation relative to the regional Saugus River floodgate project.
Mr. Hunt?
Yes, my name is Robert Hunt. I live at 1922 Main Street in Jefferson, Mass.
Would you like to, you have a presentation for us?
Yes, I do. I had the pleasure to work with Revere for 10 years as the project manager with the Corps of Engineers, first to complete the planning and construction of the Rogan's Point Flood Control Project, and then the restoration of Revere Beach, and 8 years on the regional project. I appreciate this opportunity on behalf of the hundreds of folks in the region who helped with these projects, especially Frank Stringy and the mayor's dad. The blizzard of 1978, the flood of record in this region, which started it all, was a nor'easter lasting several days, surging tides. Yes.
Mr. Hunt.
Mr. Hunt.
Sorry. That's my fault. I know that you have a small amount of time. We were added late to the agenda, so if you could just try to present your presentation. I appreciate the history, but I'd rather not go back to 1978. If you could make it within 5 minutes. Thank you.
Okay. Now, this is all about the regional project. It was optimized to protect against the standard Project Northeaster. That storm is the worst storm recently likely to occur in this region. It would cause damages over 4 times that of 1978 at over $1.3 billion in the region. It would cause damages that much. The SPN storm would cause a tsunami of tidal surges over the shorefront and into the communities lasting several days. It would be created by a nor'easter during a high astronomical tide accompanied by the storm surge of record. The SPN storm would flood 5,000 homes, 8,000 housing units and businesses, and in Revere, about 1/3 of the city. Over 2,600 buildings would be inundated, including the high school area. Flooding would reach 9 to 12 feet deep in Revere Beach, 8 to 11 feet in Riverside, Northgate, and Town Line Brook, and at Point of Pines, 5 to 8 feet, and all your major arteries would be underwater. The regional project is designed to protect against that SPN storm and sea level rise. It includes floodgates between Revere and Lynn at the mouth of the Saugus River and tied into new shorefront structures. It's 1,400 feet long and would have 9 gated openings and only be closed when a coastal storm threatens damages. The gates, when opened, were designed to provide safe passage for navigation and the natural tide levels in the estuary. The floodgate structure would tie into walls at the Pines, just oceanside of the yacht club. At Point of Pines, modeling also showed that building and restoring sand dunes would prevent the SPN overtopping in lieu of lower protection revetments. Behind Revere Beach, there would be a parkland dike designed high enough to stop water which overtops in the vicinity of the police station from reaching developed areas. The parkland would be located between the boulevard and Ocean Avenue from Beach to Revere Street. Also behind the north end of the beach is a preserved ponding area. The project includes purchasing the estuary, 1,650 acres, to preserve it for floodwater storage so your areas can drain during a storm, and to protect its resources assisted by environmental managers. The regional project also provides the opportunity to restore flushing and tide levels to the 500 acres of wetlands in the upper estuary by breaching or opening up the I-95 embankment. The estimated cost of the project is $230 million at today's prices, and the federal government had planned to pay 64% and the rest the Commonwealth. It is important to note the project would remove buildings from the high-risk floodplain, and when FEMA revises the floodplain maps, would eliminate the need for flood insurance. I had a conference call with the city's Robert O'Brien, his staff, and the Corps of Engineers Chief of Planning last week. The Corps advised that since the project was deauthorized in 2009 by Congress, a new study start and competition for federal funding is required, which could take several years to be funded. The city agreed to get the ball rolling to request a new study. A second option, and very important to prevent about 9 years of delays and restudy, should be pursued. Your congressional delegation could possibly sponsor a resolution for Congress to reauthorize the project due to the continued impending disasters from accelerated sea level rise threatening your region, and then modify the design if necessary. This could bypass the extensive restudy phase. If you'd like to know more about the project, you can read about it and see photographs and sketches and so forth on the project's website, saugusriverfloodgates.com. It's all one word, saugusriverfloodgates.com. Finally, your mayor's staff had environmental concerns, so I added this closure. The former Assistant Secretary of Environmental Affairs, the head of MEPA, during the investigation, and my environmental manager are currently so convinced this project was and still is a very good and environmentally sound project that they enthusiastically helped me prepare this presentation and the hundreds of letters and supporting documents over the past year that I sent out to legislators' communities, reminding them of this project. Reasons for this support are the project significantly reduced all environmental impacts, especially designing the floodgates to maintain the natural flushing and tide levels in the estuary. It provides significant benefits to the estuary through its acquisition, protection, and management. It provides protection against rising sea levels, and it provides the opportunity and plan to breach the I-95 embankment to restore natural flushing and tide levels to the upper 500 acres. I hate to say it, Mr. Counselor, but you're playing Russian roulette with Mother Nature, and she's winning. Sea level is accelerating in New England, especially affecting this region. Your shorefront protection is very vulnerable to overtopping, and development is increasing. You're running out of time, and only your congressman can help you expedite this project. I recommend that the council monitor and support both avenues to get the project restarted, both the new study start and especially the congressional reauthorization of this project, not knowing which avenue might be successful. I certainly wish you the best in getting protection for your city and the region. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hunt. I know Councilor Janino wants to speak on this matter, and I just wanted to remind the residents, for more information, saugus, riverfloodgate.com, and you'll be able to find out a lot of information and sketches that Mr. Hunt has provided. Councilor Janino.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, Mr. Hunt, for that presentation. And this was an abbreviated version of a very complex project that Mr. Hunt has dedicated a great deal of time and effort into researching. We crossed paths when speaking with residents that were concerned about flooding, and our residents in the Point of Pines in Riverside are greatly impacted by these 100-year storms that are now happening more frequently than ever. And I believe that working with the Army Corps of Engineers and Mr. Hunt, there is a solution out there. So I'm excited that he will be working with the city. I think this is a great opportunity for us to learn more about, and if any residents have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to help. But this is a great opportunity for all of our residents that are plagued by overpriced flood insurance and just the inconvenience of every winter or every rainstorm having to cringe and protect your home. So thank you, Mr. Hunt, and I look forward to hearing more information on this.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. And Councilor Sereno.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, Councilor Janino, for working to get Mr. Hunt before our body. I know he had been trying. Mr. Hunt, I represent Ward 6, which is West Revere. I have the Rumney Marsh and the Town Line Brook in my ward, and one of my goals, long-term, I would like to see some solution to help alleviate flooding from the Town Line Brook, and it does seem that this, I don't know if it's necessarily going to be doable, and financially prudent, but I think to have it on the table and to further discuss this would be a good thing. So thank you, Mr. Hunt. We appreciate your efforts.
Thank you, Councilor. Any other councilors? And we have one attendee wishing to speak. Eric Lampadecchio.
Eric Lampadecchio, 43 Tapley Avenue. I just want to say thank you, Mr. Hunt. There's a sense of urgency around this issue. I grew up in that area down the riverside, and I can tell you firsthand that the flooding has increased, but not only has the frequency increased, the depth of the floodwaters have also gone up, which has created some issues. We had a few evacuations I believe it was a year ago now in March, where we had a really strong storm that came through and flooded the area out. So to see that happening and to hear that this is on the city's radar is a great thing. Through you to the council, Councilor Keefe, is this part of the MVP program that's
Not necessarily. This is going to be something that would have to probably be in addition. And I think that, the next action for us would be to put it in legislative affairs, because we're going to need congressional support in creating the funding to help even start on some of the some processes that Mr. Hunt is recommending.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. So with that being said, thank you, Mr. Lampadecchio, and no other councilors. We're going to put this item into legislative affairs in hopes that there's can be some sort of a communication through to our congressional district. Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Calendar item number 5, hearing called is ordered on an ordinance establishing rules and regulations for short-term rentals.
This is an open public hearing. At this point, we're going to open up to any proponents. Any proponents in the audience? Hearing and seeing none, we're going to close that side of the hearing. Any opponents? Any opponents? We have one opponent, I believe, Mr. Barbosa. Mr. Barbosa,
Yes, sir. How are you doing today?
name and address for the record?
20 Dashwood Street.
What's that?
20 Dashwood Street in Revere.
Thank you.
Yep. And I'm actually a proponent for. I'm sorry, sir. Is this against the ordinance or for the ordinance?
So I close the side of proponents. We can, if you wish to be considered as a proponent, it's okay. We'll put that in as a note. We're now on the opponents, but you're considering yourself
yes, sir.
in favor of the ordinance, correct?
I'm actually against the ordinance.
So you're
sir.
an opponent, correct? Okay.
Yes, sir.
State your concerns.
Yes, sir. Nope. I have. My name is Raphael, proud owner of 20 Dashwood in Revere. Through my hospitality career, I've run many $10 million plus restaurants, multi-unit chains, some boutique hotels, and my newest venture is running a chain of registered legal lodging houses and short-term rentals out of Boston and the surrounding area. Late last year, I turned one of our properties in Revere into a part-time short-term rental. Since then, we've had zero neighborhood issues. No cops were ever called. Our neighbors are all aware of what's happening and how to get a hold of me if anything happens. The unit is equipped with O2 sensors, noise disturbance sensors, where we get notified through an app and through our property management software if there's any sort of large parties or disturbances in the unit. So I'm here today to I've read the entire ordinance. I make a strong argument against disturbing the neighborhood. Through the COVID crisis, we were able to accommodate 4 traveling nurse families into Revere while they were here providing aid to the nearby hospitals. We have families traveling from Massachusetts. We've had people who sold their houses in Revere and looking for temporary housing. And I just ask that the ordinance gets a bit extended. 60 days per year just isn't enough. I hope that we can get a larger or some sort of medical professional consideration for if we do want to house medical professionals, that we have the right to do so without affecting the limitation on the number of days.
Well, thank you. Thank you for your information. And on the opponents here, any other opponents wishing to speak? Hearing and seeing none. And again, this is going to be, so some of those recommendations, this is going to be referred to legislative affairs, where they may have to make some modifications, but we will put you down as an opponent and obviously join the council meeting when it goes in front of legislative affairs. At this point,
Yes,
we're going to close that side of the hearing. And any councilors wishing to speak? Council McKenna.
Thank you, Mr. President. I was on this committee when we wrote this ordinance, and we adopted Boston's ordinance for short-term rental and Airbnbs, and they have 30 days, and we extended it to 60 days. So we for people that own this, so we did extend it for 60 days. So I just wanted to note that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Ganasso?
I think the important part, if this has been mirrored after the Boston amendment, that the Airbnb have not challenged that. So this would go through and there'd be no appeal from the Airbnb Corporation. So I think this is something we should push and make sure it gets on the books as soon as possible, because our community's inundated with Airbnbs and it's ruining the fabric of the community. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor. And Councilor Rotundo.
Council President, I'm going to hold my comments for the committee. Thank you.
Thank you. And we're going to refer this to Councilor Morabito's Legislative Affairs Subcommittee. Would we have time to host this on the 24th of August?
That works.
Councilor Morabito is going to host it at 4:30?
Let's do 1 hour.
So Councilor Morabito is going to host this meeting on August 24th at 4 p.m. All in favor? So ordered.
Calendar item number 6, hearing called is ordered on a joint petition submitted by National Grid and Verizon to install 7 new jointly owned poles on Endicott Avenue, beginning at a point approximately 20 feet of the center line of the intersection of Atlantic Ave and Endicott Ave.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. This is a public hearing, and we're going to open this up to any proponents in the audience. Any proponents wishing to speak, feel free to raise your hands. We have Socrates. We're going to allow you to speak. As a
Hi, good evening. Hello?
Yes.
Hi, good evening. My name is Socrates Perez. My address is 170 Medford Street in Malden. This job is basically to install 7 stall poles to support existing poles on the south side of Endicott Avenue, which the cables are basically getting replaced with a heavier conductor, and we just need the support in order to replace those cables.
Correct. And thank you. So you're speaking in favor, obviously, I believe you work for the utility company.
Yes.
Any other proponents wishing to speak? Hearing and seeing none, we're going to close that side of the hearing. Any opponents? Any opponents wishing to speak? Hearing and seeing none, I'm going to close that side of the hearing. Any councilors wishing to speak? Councilor McKenna.
Thank you, Mr. President. Socrates, I need a couple of questions for you. Are these double poles?
It will be.
You can speak, Mr. Socrates.
No, it's not going to be double poles. The poles are going to be installed on the opposite side of the street.
And why is this necessary?
We're replacing the cables with heavier conductors, and we don't want the poles to be leaning or falling down, basically. So we need the support to get those conductors better secured.
So you're going to be putting them on the other, so you're going to put 8 poles on the other side of the street so you can support the poles that are on the other side of the street. Am I right?
Yes, it's basically like an anchor. We're going to use it as an anchor because we don't have the space to just add anchors on those poles. So we need to install the stall poles. That's what we call it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Rotundo.
Thank you, sir. Why don't you just replace the poles that are in need of being fixed instead of going through this process? And in fact, quite frankly, I'm sick and tired of double poles and Band-Aid fixes. I'm not going to vote for this. Either you fix it or you don't do it at all.
If I may, these are not going to be double poles. We don't need to replace the existing poles. We need new poles in order for us to replace the existing cables, because the cables are the ones that are going to be heavier. So the support, we just need that for support on those cables.
Any other questions? So I guess just to clarify, it wouldn't be a double pole, but you're adding poles to the opposite side. Well, I see Councilor Novoselsky speaking, looking to speak. Councilor Novoselsky?
You can finish your comment, Mr. President.
Sure. So you're going to have not double poles, but you're going to add them to the other side of the street. Is there going to be any point where you might be able to remove the ones on the opposite side of the street so the street isn't filled with all these poles? Is this something that's absolutely necessary because of the amount of new telecom happening in the area, or what can we do to mitigate the amount of poles on that street?
So right now, based on the design, we are installing those poles based on the turn that we're making. So in order for us to make sure that those poles can stand, we need those poles. Basically, we basically replacing the whole Endicott Ave cables. We're only adding 7 new poles when we need to make turns, because we need that support for the turns, not for like straight line. Basically, it's just for the turns.
Thank you.
So we're minimizing the amount of poles that we need to install.
Thank you. And Councilor Novoselsky wishes to speak?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I understand National Grid's always coming into us on their behalf. Again, they have not been very good to the city of Revere, right? When it comes to other projects. I've been fighting with them for 3 years to repave North Shore Road. reline the place, fix light fixtures, and 3 years it's taken me to do this, and I don't know why we should go out of our way for them, for something that's helping them, it has nothing to do with us. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm voting against this.
Thank you. So, Councilor Visconti wishes to speak, but this can certainly be discussed further if we want, and not vote on it tonight. We can refer it to Public Works. Which, we
Can
can
I
vote.
just get, Mr.
Councilor
President,
Visconti,
Can I
correct.
just get some clarification? Is he asking for 7 additional poles right now? On the other side of the street? Okay. Okay, but why wouldn't he, if we allow 1 pole, or even 2 poles, wouldn't it be, there's gonna be double poles there, correct me if I'm wrong, right? Oh, okay. All right, thank you for the clarification, Mr. President.
Thank you. So it looks like it's the will of the council to vote on this tonight. Councilor Rotundo?
Sir, I will tell you, most likely this is going to get denied tonight. You might want to redesign what you're doing, because we're not going to allow Endicott Ave to look like that. So you need to rethink it. It's not going to pass, and we're not going to give it to you. Thank you.
Put it in
Thank you,
committee.
Counselor. We're going to vote on this tonight. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Shall the City Council approve the joint petition of National Grid and Verizon to install 7 new poles on Endicott Avenue in accordance with the plan on file? Councilor Janino?
No.
No. Councilor Guanasso?
No.
No. Councilor McKenna?
No.
No. Councilor Morbido?
No.
No. Councilor Novoselsky?
Absolutely not.
No. Councilor Powers?
No.
No. Councilor Rotundo?
No.
No. Councilor Sereno?
No.
No. Councilor Visconti?
No.
No. Councilor Zambudo?
No.
No. And Council President Keith? No. The petition has been denied. Calendar item number 7, hearing called is ordered on a joint petition submitted by National Grid and Verizon to install 2 jointly owned poles and relocate 1 jointly owned pole on Yeaman Street.
Okay, this is also a public hearing. We're asking for any proponents to speak in the audience. Any proponents? Hearing and seeing none. We have a proponent, and it's
Yes.
Socrates. You may speak.
So for this job is basically to install 2 new poles along the existing pole line to add line regulators for reliability purposes.
Thank you. So you're going to install 2 poles and relocate 1. So what's the subtract? Is it going to be
I'm
1?
sorry, which street is this? I'm sorry.
Yeaman Street.
I'm sorry, we're gonna withdraw this one because it went back for redesign.
Okay, so you're going to withdraw this, Madam Clerk?
Yes, I thought it was another one. That we
Since it's a
had.
public hearing, we're just going to continue on with the public hearing process, and then we'll close it out after. We'll place it on file. So any other proponents wishing to speak? Hearing and seeing none, we're going to close that side of the hearing. Any opponents wishing to speak? As the ward counselor, I would probably want to talk a little bit more about this as well, but considering it's being withdrawn, I'll save my comments for later. We're going to close that side of the hearing. And Madam Clerk, we can just table this matter? Or place this in, so we're going to withdraw this matter. All in favor? So ordered. Thank you.
Calendar item number 8, hearing called is ordered on the application of Gunner Holdings LLC, 30 Railroad Street, Revere, Mass., seeking permission from the Revere City Council to operate a commercial parking lot, 220 spaces on Lot A at 144 Railroad Street.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And again, this is a public hearing, so we're going to open it up to any proponents in the audience. Any proponents wishing to speak? And I don't currently see any. Attorney Simeone, are you here to speak on this project?
I am.
Okay. Are you a proponent of this project?
I am. I can't seem to get into you guys. Can you, obviously, I clicked something, man.
We can hear you.
Anyway, you can hear me. That's a start. So, I don't know why you can't see me. But
That's good enough. We don't want to see you. We just want to hear you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Mr. President and members of the Honorable City of Revere Council, I represent Gunner Holding LLC, They're the owner of 30 Railroad Street in Revere. They seek an application for special permit to operate a commercial parking lot use in accordance with Revere Revised Zoning Ordinance 1708-572. The property is located in the TED District. Lot A consists of 2.3 acres of land. As shown on the site plan in Exhibit A as part of your zoning application package, the zoning map as part of Exhibit B on your package. The property, it consists of now one building, Lot A of 11,700 square feet. It is a multi-use building. Not long ago, you remember that there were two buildings on this site. The other building, as shown on the site plan in 2015, when Wellness Connection of Massachusetts got its special permit from this honorable body, there existed building B, 22,800 square feet with an additional 68 parking spaces. At that time, 88 parking spaces included both the dispensary and the cultivation center. So now we have this multi-use building, Building A. It has Wellness Connection of Massachusetts. It has Northeast Ice and Snow Experts, Stone Property Management. It also includes Mike's Shipping and Gallagher's Electric Company, just for its offices. These particular uses, Northeast, Stone Property, Gallagher's, and Mike's Shipping, will be vacating the premises should the Honorable Council vote for the new use, which is the commercial parking lot. Essentially, there should be we believe that at the end of the day, the multi-use building will probably consist of the medical marijuana treatment center, dispensary, along with the parking lot business and maybe some small associated businesses. But for the most part, these will be the principal users of the property. As shown on the site plan, we're going to propose 220 automobiles to be parked in the remaining portion of the land that is not used by the dispensary. With respect to this particular new use, the access to the premises will remain the same. So the access in 2015 is the same access that you'll see in this proposal. Essentially, we have two gates. They're security gates. The flow of traffic goes in from the exterior into the initial security gate area, which is the dispensary, along with we have proposed 37 parking spaces, which is an increase over the parking that was originally given for the dispensary and the medical marijuana treatment special permit, which was 24. So essentially, the people will come in. Those patrons of the medical marijuana dispensary will park in that area where there's 37 parking spaces. And those individuals who go on further to park their cars will go to the back lot through the second gate, where we'll have staff and employees and possibly maybe even a shed to greet them and or take their cars. The proposed new use is in harmony with existing uses in the TED District on Lee Burbank Highway. There exists park and flies, as they're called, at both Holiday Inn and literally a butter to this site, and Thrifty. We look at this particular use, and I think part of the things that we want to make sure is how this use, and if this honorable body grants a special permit, we're going to try to make sure that all the conditions of the existing special permit fall in line. So one of the things we are concerned about is security, as you were back in 2015. So if you were to look at the special permit granted in 2015 to Wellness Connection of Massachusetts, you'll see that there has to be a 10-foot perimeter fence, illumination of all buildings, interior and exterior cameras approved by the Revere Police Department, and a variety of other small items. But these items they're items that are in 6, 7, and 8 of the former special permit, and they included the security gates and the lighting and so forth. The new use will be operating 24/7. The new use will have 15 to 17 employees. We anticipate that use will have less of a traffic impact than the 64 employees, trucks, and material that would have gone in and out of the cultivation center. At this time, we would like to ask that this matter go to subcommittee. And one of the key things we want to do in subcommittee, Mr. Chairman, along with the recommendations that you receive from site plan review, we want to make sure that the two special permits go in one hand in hand, that there's no conflict of terms, and we intend to work on that very hard. Finally, again, the traffic issue, it's our position clearly, and I know that Chairman Zambudo of the subcommittee may want us to do something about this. If so, if he and the members find it necessary, but our position is, on its face, the traffic that would have been generated from the previous use would have greatly exceeded the potential traffic that we would get from the cars of patrons who usually leave their vehicles, sometimes from 5 to 10 days as they travel from Massachusetts. At this point, I would ask you, Mr. Chairman, to report this into subcommittee.
Thank you, Attorney Simeoni. So this being a public hearing, still going to stay open to any other proponents? The audience, hearing and seeing none, we're going to close that side of the hearing. Any opponents in the audience? We have one attendee. Let's see. Oh, pardon me. Hang on. We have Michael Rosen.
Is that unmuted?
Yep. Name and address for the record, please.
Michael Rosen, 255 State Street, Boston, Massachusetts. Mr. President, members of the council, I represent Durant Performance Coating. Durant is in the building immediately adjacent to this particular property, this application. It's a business that has been at that location for 70 years now and is in its third generation of family ownership. As I'm sure some of you may recall, we did object to the marijuana facility in 2015 based on traffic-related concerns and the interaction with marijuana customers and the commercial use of our property next door. We did work through those issues with Gunnar Holdings to reach a resolution, and that resolution includes an easement that goes over the driveway that creates a methodology for commercial vehicles, tractor trailers, to pull into the property in what is otherwise a very difficult stretch of road on Railroad Street to get in and conduct a 90-degree turn and then back up to loading docks on the property. And we have some significant concerns with adding a 220-car parking lot where parties will drive in a commercial area where there will be tractor trailers, there will be customers coming in and out of the cannabis store. And as Mr. Simeoni mentioned, these people coming and dropping their cars really could come at any time of the day or night. While you might have 4 existing tenants in the building now, they are tenants of the building. They are adjoining property owners and business owners. So when those abutters all work together and in unison, they have a reasonable understanding of what each other's traffic patterns are. But we are very concerned that adding a parking facility would have a detrimental impact not only on this property, but also out onto Railroad Street. We did summarize our concerns in writing and send them to this council earlier in the day today. If this matter is going to go to subcommittee, we would greatly appreciate the opportunity to participate. We would hope that rather than conjecture, that this council require a traffic study, and we would even recommend that the applicant pay for the city to get a peer review of that traffic study to determine the extent to which this parking lot might impact not only my client, but all of the other business owners on that section of Railroad Street. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rosen. And Being the open hearing, any other opponents wishing to speak? Hearing and seeing none, I'm going to close that side of the hearing. And any councils wishing to speak? Councilor McKenna?
Thank you, Mr. President. So I think this is, I'm sorry, Mr. Rosen, but I think this is, it's going to subcommittee.
And this will be going to subcommittee.
But I just think it's a great thing to do, especially there, because it's a hidden place. You won't see it, and I don't think that he wants a traffic study, but I don't think there's going to be a lot of cars that are going to go in and out of there if people are parking and going away for 5 or 6 days. So I know it's going into subcommittee. I'll make more comments as it goes. Bye.
Thank you, Councilor Zambudo.
Thank you, Mr. President. Obviously, Mr. Rosen can certainly come to our subcommittee meeting, which will be at the next city council meeting, which is the 24th. 24th at
correct, 5:30 on the
5:30 p.m. So you can bring your concerns there, and we'll address all the concerns at subcommittee. Thank you.
Councilor Rotundo.
Thank you. Actually, I'm familiar with Durant Paint. It was in the family of Mr. Yannetti, if I'm not mistaken. I know the area quite well, and to be quite honest with you, this is a good fit. There's clear evidence that all the abutters work together, so I can't see how this would be an issue. Park and flies, if you will, are pretty much predominant along that thoroughfare. So this is not unique to the area nor to this site. Thank you.
Thank you. And Councilor Novoselsky.
Here we go. Mr. President, thank you very much. I can understand Mr. Rosen's concerns, but I think it's a perfect location for a park and fly. It's set back off the roadway, and I'm sure that Gunner Associates will work with them to make sure that tractor trailers and other vehicles are not in the way. They're good people to work with, and I think it's a good fit, and I'm sure you said they work together. These folks will work together, and I think they can make it happen. So I'd be for this, but I'm willing to talk in committee when it comes in. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilor Powers.
Thank you, Mr. President. I've recently been down there, and I've looked at the site, and it's my understanding that the site is larger now than it previously was, because there's been a building that's been taken down, creating a larger site down there. There's so much of that business along that highway. It's for more or less almost out of the city of Revere. I think it's an excellent spot for that, and I think it's something that would work very well down there. So I'll have more comments when we go to committee with this, where it obviously is going. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Powers. At this point, we will refer this to zoning subcommittee on the 24th at 5:30 p.m. All in favor? So ordered.
Calendar item number 9, hearing called is ordered on the application of CLPF Revere LLC, requesting to amend an existing Chapter 148 license at 135 American Legion Highway.
Thank you, Council. And this is an open hearing, public hearing. Will be proponents. Any proponents in the audience wishing to speak? Hearing and
Hi, this is Paul Moan, Code Red Consultants. Good evening.
How you doing, Paul?
Very well, thank you. I hope you're doing well as well. Also, my name is Paul Moan, 154 Turnpike Road, Southborough, Massachusetts, from Code Red Consultants, licensed fire protection engineer, speaking on behalf of the design and construction team for the building renovation down at 135 American Legion Highway, the new Amazon building. So we are here requesting a flammable license for that existing facility. The license will be updated on the basis that there is planned to be up to 677 delivery vans parked inside, whose quantity, both associated with the gasoline and oil within the van's tanks, is on the license, as well as the additional quantities associated with the fuel tanks for the existing generator and fire pump. Thank you.
Thank you. So any other attendees as a proponent? Hearing and seeing none, we're going to close that side of the hearing. Any opponents? Any opponents wish to speak? Hearing and seeing none, we're going to close that side of the hearing. We're going to open this up to the council. Just a reminder, this is somewhat of a formality now with the ordinance of the city, and when you're having large vehicle storages, much like they do in the newer buildings. Council Powers is in your ward. You wish to speak?
Thank you, Mr. President. Sir, the previous speaker? Mr. Simone?
Mr. Moan.
Yeah.
Moran, I'm sorry. Hi.
Okay.
Is this relative to the vehicle storage that's going to be inside that building? I understand there's going to be 250 vehicles stored inside the building?
That's a part of it. So the flammable license encompasses up to 677 potential vans, all of which have, obviously, we assume them to be full of gasoline and motor oil. And it also includes the tanks associated with the existing generator to serve the life safety systems of the facility, as well as the fire pump.
Yeah. And the fire department's been down there, I'm sure, and looked at this plan?
We've been working, call it hand in hand with Deputy Cheever.
Yeah, okay. That's all I want to hear. Thank you.
Thank you,
Mr. President.
Thank you, Council Powers. And this, if we vote on this tonight, it still would need the fire department sign off. So the fire department's already signed off on it? Okay, great, even better. So the fire department has already given the green light on this, and we know Deputy Cheever does not let anything fly unless it's right. So we can vote on this tonight.
That's for sure.
Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Shall the City Council grant the petition of the requester for a Chapter 148 license to be exercised at 135 American Legion Highway? Councilor Gino?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Granasso?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor McKenna?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Morbido?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Novoselsky?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Powers?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Rotundo?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Sereno?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Visconti?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Zambudo?
Yes.
Yes. And Council President Keefe?
Yes.
Yes, the Chapter 148 license has been granted. Calendar item number 10. This is unfinished business, motion presented by Councilor Sereno, that the City Council order to a public hearing the following amendment to the revised ordinances of the City of Revere. Section 2.03.050 is hereby amended by inserting a new subsection as follows. All meetings of governmental bodies shall not commence before the hour of 6:00 p.m. on Monday through Friday or before 10:00 a.m. on Saturday and Sunday.
This is going to be referred to a public hearing on the 24th. Councilor Sereno?
Thank you, Mr. President. I can reserve my comments for the 24th if that would be okay.
Mark, thank you.
Thank you.
All in favor? So ordered.
Calendar item number 11 is the Public Works Subcommittee report.
Councilor Novoselsky?
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, we had a very good Public Works Subcommittee meeting, and one of the items, the joint poll petition 20-102 was left in committee for future viewing, and everybody agreed with that. And the next item was the Paul Agenzio from Public Works came in and spoke about the new LED lights around the city, and it seems though that the National Grid has allowed their private contractor to finish their work, which again I don't agree with because they still have other items they had to take care of. At National Grid said they were going to finish their job, so we'll wait and see with that. So that was accepted graciously. Paul gave a great report of what's going on, and there aren't that many complaints, I guess, around the city. But if anybody does have a complaint, to make sure they put it in on 311. Specifically mentioning the poll number. If they can see the number on the lights, it's usually 25, 48, 96, or a 210 LED. If you look up, they can see the number right at the bottom of the light and send it in on 311, and it will be addressed. Whether changed or kept is another thing. But so that's our report for that. And the third item that we had was Donnie Termella from Water and Sewer gave an explanation of what's going on down on Hastings Street. with the outfalls, an old issue, and I know it's a pet peeve for Council Gwinnett. But that will be addressed, and hopefully, with all the new equipment, the DPW will be able to handle it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. And we're going to, the next item on the agenda, Madam Clerk? Well, we'll place on file.
Calendar item number 12 is the Legislative Affairs Subcommittee report.
Thank you. Earlier, the Legislative Affairs Subcommittee met to discuss one agenda item of extending the expiration date of the tobacco licenses. It was voted unanimously to extend the expiration date, which will be changed from expiration of May 31st to December 31st, which was May 1st was the original expiration date. So this license now will be eligible for renewal effective January 1st, 2021, and expire annually on December 31st of that year.
Thank you, Council Morbido. So, Madam Clerk, ordered on a second reading. Ordered on a third and final reading. Request for roll call for engrossment and ordainment.
Shall the City Council approve an ordinance relative to the expiration date for the sale of tobacco licenses? Councilor Janino?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Guanasso?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor McKenna?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Morbido?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Novoselsky?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Powers?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Rotundo?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Sereno?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Visconti?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Zambudo?
Yes.
Yes. And Council President Keefe?
Yes.
Yes. This ordinance has been engrossed and ordained.
Thank you. Next
Calendar
up,
item number 13 is the Appointment Subcommittee report.
Councilor Ganasso.
Mr. President, earlier this afternoon, the Appointment Subcommittee met, and we had two places of business before us. The first being a communication from the mayor relative to the appointment of Dimple Rana as Executive Director of the city's Human Rights Commission. That was voted out to deny the applicant. I ask for a roll call vote.
Madam Clerk.
Shall the City Council confirm the appointment of Dimple Rana as the Executive Director of the city's Human Rights Commission? Councilor Janino?
No.
No. Councilor Guanasso?
No.
No. Councilor McKenna?
No.
No. Councilor Morbido?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Novoselsky?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Powers?
No.
No. Councilor Rotundo?
No.
No.
Yes.
Who was that?
I was saying yes. I was saying no.
Oh, okay. Councilor Sereno?
No.
No. Councilor Visconti?
No.
No. Councilor Zambudo?
No.
No. And Council President Keefe?
No.
No. The appointment has been denied.
Mr. President,
Councilor.
if one further business is communication from the mayor relative to the appointment of Kathy Bowden as the treasurer collector of the city of Revere. That was voted out unanimously to vote in favor. I ask the council to do so also.
Madam Clerk.
Mr. President, before you call for the roll on this, I was trying to call for suspension of rules on the last item, in the hopes it would not prevail, but I couldn't get in quick enough. So I want suspension of the rules. In the hopes
All in
that-
favor of suspension rules?
Aye.
Councilor?
Thank you.
You're asking for reconsideration?
Yes.
All in favor?
No.
Roll call?
No.
Oh, no, we have, the ayes have it. It's ordered.
Mr. President, while we're under suspension of rules,
Councilor Sereno. I knew I wasn't going to get away with
while we're under suspension of rules, Mr. President, I was wondering if we could take up an
Excuse me,
oral-
I'm in the middle of a report.
Okay, all right.
Finish
So,
my report.
Mr. Councilor Sereno, if we can let Councilor Guanasso finish his report, and then we continue the suspension of rules with your substitute motion.
Great,
Sounds
thank
good?
you.
Thank you. Councilor Guanasso.
Mr. President, the communication from the mayor relative to the appointment of Kathy Bowden as the treasurer collector of the city of Revere was passed unanimously. I hope the city council does the same. Thank you.
Madam Clerk.
Shall the City Council confirm the appointment of Kathy Bowden as the Treasurer-Collector for the City of Revere? Councilor Janino?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Guanasso?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor McKenna?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Morabito?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Novoselsky?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Powers?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Rotundo?
Absolutely, yes.
Yes. Councilor Sereno?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Visconti?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Zambuto?
Yes.
Yes. And Council President Keefe?
Yes.
Yes, the appointment has been confirmed.
Thank you. Councilor Sereno, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. And Mr. President, through you to the clerk, I would like to offer an oral motion by myself, Councilor Visconti, and Council President Keefe. Obviously, tonight has been a very divisive meeting, and I wanted to offer a resolution. And I know my colleagues have not seen this yet, but I'm hoping to read it, and I'm hoping that we could possibly adopt it. So this is in regards to not only the Human Rights Commission, or I should say not only the Executive Director of the Human Rights Commission, but also the Human Rights Commission itself. So I would like to offer that whereas we, the undersigned members of the Revere City Council, recognize the urgent and critical need for the reestablishment of the Revere Human Rights Commission. And whereas, as a council, we also recognize the deep division in our city and hear our residents who have suffered terrible injustice and want action, as well as our residents who wish to see our community move forward with a Human Rights Commission in a professional and unbiased manner, and in a manner that builds bridges and unites all residents of Revere. And whereas we reaffirm our commitment that we unanimously made at our meeting on June 22nd, 2020, that hate has no place in the city of Revere. And to expand on that statement, we explicitly denounce discrimination in our community based on race, gender, religion, sexual orientation, or because of stigma. And whereas under Chapter 9, Section 28 of our city ordinances, it is the policy of the City of Revere to protect the constitutional, civil, and human rights of all people within the city and to promote understanding among individuals and groups in the city through improving the quality of discourse and eliminating unlawful discrimination. And whereas it is the function of the Human Rights Commission to implement the aforementioned policy by initiating activities designed to educate and inform the city about the effects of prejudice, intolerance, and bigotry, as well as to assist with mediation of disputes of discrimination. And whereas, given the duties and charges of the Commission, particularly with regard to the sensitive nature of mediation of disputes of discrimination, we, the undersigned members of the Revere City Council, believe the role of Executive Director should be discharged, preferably by an attorney of law who has a background in adjudicating violations of civil rights. And whereas, given the uniqueness of the work of the Commission compared to other boards and commissions of the city, as well as the desire of the council that we get this right in order that the commission be the best it can be, we believe the Executive Director of the Human Rights Commission should be selected from an open and transparent process in which the position is properly advertised and in which the candidates are interviewed by a committee composed of the mayor, 3 members of the City Council appointed by the Council President, and 2 members of the School Committee appointed by the Chair of the School Committee. The 5 members of that subcommittee who are not the mayor shall recommend 2 final candidates to the mayor who shall select and appoint based on those final 2 recommendations. This process shall be completed and the appointee shall be submitted to the City Council for confirmation no later than Monday, October 5th, 2020. That's 10 weeks from tonight. And whereas the stipend of the Executive Director of the Human Rights Commission should be equitable and comparable to the clerks of other boards and commissions of the city. And whereas, recognizing the urgency of getting the work of the commission off the ground as soon as possible, that in the meantime, Mayor Arrigo submit to this council appointments for the members of the Human Rights Commission at the earliest opportunity. Therefore, be it resolved that we, the undersigned members of the Revere City Council, stand ready to take up the mayor's appointments of the members of the Human Rights Commission at the earliest possible convenience during this summer session, and request that he does so in a manner that is timely advertised for both the members of the council and the public to review the credentials of the appointees.
Point of inquiry.
State your point, Councilor.
Point of inquiry. Stand up, you can clap.
Councilor Morbido.
I applaud you, because those are nice words, okay? But they're just words right now, okay? Do you think, so is there going to be a pay for this what do you recommend for it? Hiring a lawyer as an executive?
Point of order.
Hang on.
Point of order.
It's a point of inquiry.
Councilor Rotundo.
Will we
Actually,
be,
point of order.
Point of inquiry.
Point of order is above that.
Councilor
I can answer
Rotundo.
that, Councilor.
Everyone stop for 1 second.
So is this now a paid
Councilor
position?
Morbido, hold on, please, for 1 moment. I'll give you the floor. Can you just take a deep breath?
Viewers, do you notice it's never Counselor anyone else, but when I get
I'm letting you have the
passionate,
floor,
I'm
Councilor.
always so quick to
Councilor, I'm
silence.
letting you have the floor. Just take a breath and just relax and talk.
I am very relaxed.
Just talk through the chair, please.
Through you, Mr.
Thank
Chair.
you.
Point of inquiry.
Go ahead.
So you suggest that we have a executive director who has legal background or is a lawyer, correct?
Correct.
Will we be paying this executive director?
I would recommend, okay.
Point of,
I'm asking the maker of the motion.
Well,
point of order.
Councilor Morbido.
Point of order.
Yes, let me relax here. Everyone relax.
I would like to
Councilor
answer the
Morbido,
question. I can answer this question.
Councilor Serino has the answer, but Councilor Rotundo wishes to answer for him.
Thank you. It's been pretty much throughout my career, people actually volunteer for things of this nature, whether it be at CAPIC, whether it be at other community events, or for that matter, community issues. People volunteer.
I'm sorry, but this is a grandstanding motion, and I am disappointed.
It's a resolution, it's not a motion. Point of order.
This is a surprise resolution. Neither one of my colleagues, what about the respect for one another? You didn't discuss it with someone who not once, but twice brought it before the council
Point to personal privilege.
Human Rights Commission
Point to personal
reinstated.
privilege. Point to personal privilege.
I just feel blindsided right now.
Thank you, Councilor Morbido. Thank you. And I understand where you're coming from. You're clearly very passionate on this process. I totally get it. Councilor Serino is offering an alternative motion because, quite frankly, you, myself, and many other councilors have presented the Human Rights Commission since 2014. Myself, I've been on since 2016. And nothing has been done. Today, it is July 27th, 2020. We've gotten one appointment. One. So guess what? It's not working.
So why not make a motion,
hold on 1 second,
Mr.
Councilor.
President?
So his substitute motion is hopefully going to find an alternative or some sort of a compromise, because clearly the first round of the last 20 years, 5 under the Mayor administration, before that the Rizzo administration, and before that the Ambrosino administration. 20 years. Nothing's been done. One appointment. One ultimatum, ultimately.
Mr. President.
So, Councilor Serino, all he's doing is, it's not disrespectful. He's just offering a resolution. It's very respectful. If you don't like it, that's quite all right. You don't have to start yelling and screaming. It's
Who's
okay.
yelling and screaming,
It's all right.
Mr. President?
It's okay. It's okay.
Who is yelling and screaming, Mr. President?
We can vote as a council on it, all right? No one's trying to be disrespectful to anyone. Nobody.
Mr. President.
He's handling it respectfully.
Do you feel that city council should have a background of legal expertise? Yes or no?
Point to personal privilege.
Because maybe then we should look at
personal
that.
privilege.
Councilor Morbido, I'll answer
Do
your
you
question.
feel you can
Councilor
represent?
Morbido, I will answer your question, and then we're going to move on from there.
Do you feel that
Would you like me
we
to answer
as
your question?
councilors can represent
Would you like
our
me to answer your
constituents
question?
without
Point
a
to
legal
personal
background?
privilege.
Councilor Morbido,
Point to
can I talk
personal
now?
privilege.
I've been waiting. Go for it.
Point to personal
I'm going to
privilege.
answer this question, and I'm going to give you the floor. Councilor Morbido. No, and I also didn't feel that the Human Rights Commission needed a background in law. It wouldn't hurt, but I don't think that wasn't my comments. Thank you, that's my answer.
But you're the maker of the motion.
Well, that's why it says
supporter of the motion.
You were included as a late proponent of this motion, all of you.
Thank you.
I would recommend that you...
Mr. Chair, may I have the floor for one moment?
Councilor Rotundo, then Councilor Visconti. Thank you.
You know, it's funny, we're talking about a legislative body. We have a ton of lawyers in Washington and, for that matter, up at the State House. Their approval level is abysmal. I'm a nurse. I speak multiple languages, as you know. Our founding fathers were farmers. Some of them were not. Some of them were just regular people. So, as far as I'm concerned, a legislative body is far different, and Chief Callahan was here to answer the question on Zoom when I asked it about part of the issue of it dealing with law. So I would believe that an officer of the court who is duty-bound to be blind and pious is important. This, just like any other late motion, has been filed on behalf of the community. You filed late motions before. We all have.
Name one.
Council, state your point. We're not going to have the back and forth.
For some reason, you guys are pinning me as the bad guy.
No.
But here's the thing. You're dictating the position, saying it has to be someone with a legal background.
That's not what it says.
Counselor,
Can you reread that?
Counselor.
It says preferably. Preferably means preference. That does not say shall. There's a difference between shall and preference.
So why, now, point taken. Okay, now he just raised his voice. Why wasn't he gavelled?
I didn't gavel you either, quite frankly.
Why wasn't he told to
Okay, how's
slow
this?
his voice?
Councilor Serino, don't raise your voice again. Thank you.
Yeah.
Councilor Morbido.
Mr. Chair,
thank you, Councilor Visconti. And then we have Councilor Novoselsky, which is
Since we're talking about a topic that was part of my message earlier, if we look at the executive directors, okay, in the surrounding areas, the communities that have executive directors, 6 out of the 7 communities are attorneys.
And what about the 21?
Huh? I just said 21 communities, okay, have a human rights commission. Out of those 21, 7 of them have an executive director's position. Out of those 7, 6 of them are attorneys. So if you want to follow best practice, I wouldn't mind having an attorney present there to decide and discuss human civil rights law. Yes, I am for that 100%. I would prefer that. No questions asked.
Point of information, we have a city solicitor to advise us on legal matters.
Crazy.
Councilor.
And furthermore, I
Councilor Novoselsky, Councilor Visconti. Please, gentlemen, I'm going to ask again. When you're going to talk, please let me call on you before you speak, please. And don't speak over each other, even with all the crazy points. I don't care about it, okay? Councilor Morbido, last point, anything?
Nope.
Thank you. Councilor Visconti, and then we have Councilor Novoselsky who wishes to speak. Councilor Novoselsky wishes to speak. Councilor Novoselsky, aren't you glad you stayed home?
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I haven't said anything all night because I have my beliefs, and I can appreciate the resolution that Councilor Serino and colleagues want to put in. But number one, the mayor doesn't have to do it. Okay, he can veto it, and if we want to override it, that's one thing. I question whether or not we really need a legal. I don't know if those other 6 commission executive directors get paid for that position. I don't know.
Councilor, you're frozen up.
If that's the route we want to go, the mayor has to appropriate that money.
Right.
So we just can't do it off the top of our heads.
Well,
Just by, so, I would like to think of where this was thrown at us. I would like to put this in committee, in legislative affairs, talk about it a little further, instead of jumping the gun and throwing it down everybody's throat and everybody else making.
Councilor Serino?
Thank you, Mr. President. Through you.
Themselves look worse. So other than that, I can work with things, but I just want to be able to understand a last minute extreme verbal and motion.
Good point, Councilor. Thank you. Councilor Serino?
Thank you, Mr. President. Again, I'll say it. Our city is torn and divided. And I think what I'm offering, what Councilor Visconti and Council President Keefe, is a reasonable compromise. We are acknowledging we want the Human Rights Commission, we need it, and this would set forth a timeline to have the mayor put his feet to the fire and have an open and transparent process where he's considering other candidates. We appointed Chief Callahan as chief of police. I'm sure there were other candidates that were vetted and that he thought about. I would imagine for a position like this as well, he would want other candidates. And I think this is a very reasonable compromise. That's all. And, we can put it in legislative affairs, but that's why I said October 5th. That would give a kind of a hard deadline of 10 weeks to get this off the ground. Again, thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Councilor. And as a supporter of the motion, I have no problem going into legislative affairs. I just want to state again for the record, Councilor Janino, I'll give you, I just want to state again for the record, we want the Human Rights Commission, and I know it's, for whatever reason, we've had this in front of a few mayors now for many years, and nothing has been done up until late May, actually late June, okay? And it was thrown at us during one of the most tumultuous meetings we've had. The only reason the June 29th meeting was scheduled, the only reason was to finish the budget. That is it. It was never originally scheduled. It was June 27th and then July. June 29th was added because the budget wasn't finalized at the June 22nd meeting. The only reason that meeting was scheduled, and we had honestly, yeah, controversial appointment put in front of the body, okay? And it was clearly from a whole, I don't think it was handled well as a whole. We have to take responsibility for that, and the mayor has to take responsibility for that, and the parties involved have to take responsibility for that. We're trying to right that wrong, and we want to get a Human Rights Commission started. I've asked for the actual body to be presented in front of us. That, I don't know why, but I don't have it in front of me. I asked for it very nicely, respectfully, because I get along with the mayor really well. He's a great mayor. Like I said, it's not personal. This whole thing has been messed up. So at the end of the day, Councilor Serino put together some nice verbiage to try and give him some sort of a compromise. If he wants to not vote on it, if he doesn't want to act on it, that's fine. If he wants to take 5 more years on it, that's fine. We have voted for it. You personally have voted for it 3 times, Councilor Morabito. I personally have voted for it twice, and I've waited way too long. And then, again, we're going to be the ones slandered that we didn't want to have this happen.
That's right, Mr. President, and that's why I want to call for a roll call on this right now.
Okay, roll call. Councilor Janino.
Mr. President, these are clear. I thought you could see me over here.
I can't see through the plexiglass.
Thank you. No, I just want to take a moment to commend my colleagues. Tonight and the past several council meetings have not been easy. And I think if anything, when you watch these, I know they can be frustrating, and I know that we have very difficult conversations up here, but the work that we do is not easy, and it's not taken lightly. And I think that if anything, when you see the passion in the people that represent you, you can clearly see that we speak from our heart and we do have good intentions. So I know this wasn't easy. I want to commend my colleagues. Councilor Morabito, we admire your passion. We know you care a lot about the city and about this. Councilor Serino, I commend your motion, and I know there are other makers of the motion, but I think it's a great resolution, and I think it's well intended, and I think it's important to show the members of our community that we're not all talk. We're making an action happen. We're not going to say, we're going to wait for another appointment. We're going to sit back and see if another 4 years pass until this director is appointed. We're going to make a decision. We're going to act on it, and we're going to get this commission filled, because it is very evident that that is what this community wants and needs. Thank you.
Thank you, Council. I think Council Novoselsky, do you still wish to speak?
Yes, I do, Mr. President. Mr. President, a couple of things, if I may. First of all, I agree with the commission. It has to happen. But everybody has to realize in the last 20 years, we haven't had an incident like in Minnesota, that where it was Minnesota, in 25 years, if not longer. This is all a reaction to that. Now, I don't disagree with the way people are reacting, but it's a nationwide thing for one particular incident that happened, and it shouldn't have happened. We all agree that it shouldn't have happened. But I think we have to realize, too, that it's important for us to let everybody know, and I agree with what everybody's saying, that we have to let everybody know where we stand. But we also have to understand that the Human Rights Commission, which I have suggested people for the mayor to appoint, I've even asked these folks for resumes to submit to come before us. Now, not everybody's a lawyer. They're street people. They're people like us. They're not city councilors and they're on legislative bodies. But I think these folks could make something and get an earful from everybody and put something good together. I don't want this commission to be on a witch hunt and start breaking the city down in every department. If there's an incident, we react to it. But that's my say. So, I'll go along with it. But I still think we should put it in committee for 1 month, and we can give the mayor all the deadlines we want. He doesn't have to abide by them.
Thank you, Councilor. Shame on him.
That's why I'm asking
Councilor and Councilor Rotundo.
Thank you. Yes, of course. Thank you, Council President. I would hope that we vote on this tonight.
Yep.
This is a resolution. It does not change the ordinance. All this is a signification of this council, where it stands and where it would like to go. That's it.
Thank you.
It is solely a resolution. It is support of the commission. It is giving the mayor the idea of where we want to go with an executive director. And that's all it is. And as pointed out eloquently by Councilor Visconti, 6 of the 7 communities that have executive directors have an attorney who is an officer of the court, who volunteers their time, most likely, as they do at Capic and other institutions in which a lawyer is needed in order to aid the public. I think that would be a perfect thing. Just like if, for example, we had COVID-19, you would ask a nurse who's a city councilor who speaks multiple languages to do tracing and tracking. Guess what? It happened. So this is pretty much a non-issue. All it is, quite frankly, is a resolution, a direction, and a support of a commission that is vitally needed.
Thank you, Councilor. We're going to call the roll, Madam Clerk.
Roll call on the resolution relative to the Human Rights Commission. Councilor Janino?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Guanasso?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor McKenna?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Morbido? Absent. Councilor Novoselsky?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Powers?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Rotundo?
Absolutely yes.
Yes. Councilor Sereno?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Visconti?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Zambuto?
Yes.
Yes. And Council President Keefe?
Yes.
Yes. The resolution has been approved.
Motion to suspend rules in hopes that reconsideration does not prevail, Mr. President.
We're already in suspension of rules and reconsideration. All in favor?
I'm in
Hopes
pain.
it doesn't prevail. So ordered. And we're going to return to normal business. Madam Clerk.
Calendar item number 15, communication from Laura Holmes, 243 Campbell Ave, regarding the Black Lives Matter banner at City Hall.
Placed on file.
Madam Clerk, I think Laura Holmes sent a letter to the council. I don't see her on. We can place that on file. And I don't know if the mayor wishes to speak on that. Okay, placed on file.
Calendar item number 16, communication from the election commissioner requesting the appointment of a member to serve on the Northeast Metropolitan Regional School Committee.
Placed on file.
Calendar item number 17, communication from the mayor requesting an appropriation from the Community Improvement Trust Fund for Curtis Park.
Roll call? Or any councilors wishing to speak? Ira, where are you? Oh, there you are.
Yes, sir.
You're right there.
Thank you. Mr. President, thank you. This is self-explanatory. They ran into a problem with the materials at Curtis Park, so Michael Hinnerhoser recommended that we do a better grade of infield for the baseball. So and there's a few other small things that we have to deal with. So park is coming out beautifully. If anybody's been down there, the sprinkler system's in, and they're starting to put down the loam in the field, and it's really looking great. We're going to have an outstanding Curtis Park down there for next spring after they plant the grass. So thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Any other councilors wishing to speak? So I've been down, I do Babe Ruth, and so we're sad to not have Curtis Park this year, so we're excited that there'll be some improvements done to that ball field for next year, because it's actually a really nice park. It's right off the ocean. You get a good breeze, and the kids enjoy playing there. So all in favor, roll call?
Shall the City Council approve an appropriation from the Community Improvement Trust Fund in the amount of $30,062.45 for improvements to Curtis Park? Councilor Janino?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Guanasso?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor McKenna?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Morabito is absent. Councilor Novoselsky?
Yes, thank you.
Yes. Councilor Powers?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Rotundo?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Sereno?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Visconti?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Zambudo?
Yes.
Yes. And Council President Keith?
Yes.
Yes, the appropriation has been approved. Calendar item number 18, communication from the city auditor relative to fiscal year 2020 end-of-year transfers and a free cash appropriation request for street lighting.
Mr. Auditor?
Hi, good evening. Just trying to close the fiscal year with no deficits in all of the appropriated accounts. So this is a year-end administrative exercise here to balance all the accounts so that we don't have any deficits on our appropriations when we get our certified free cash. So I'm happy to try to answer any questions on any of the particular items there. But again, we've seen this typically every year just to make sure that we have all of our debits and credits in place so we don't have any penalties on free cash certification. So happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. And Council Novoselsky?
Thank you, Mr. President. Through you to Mr. Biscayne. On that $137,000 from free cash for street lighting, what is that just for the bills, to pay bills, or is that for any?
What happened was we knew that the city was transferring over all the street lights to LED. So we lowered that appropriation. I believe the project got delayed a little bit, so we didn't realize as much savings as we could have. And opposed to trying to do too many transfers in and out, we decided that it was easier to maybe just take the free cash and address that one particular item. So just a budgeted shortfall based upon our anticipated savings with the new LEDs.
Is this money going to National Grid?
Yeah, I mean, it's basically our utility bill for streetlights.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Council. Any other councilors? Roll call? Yep, 2 separate roll call votes.
Shall the City Council approve a transfer from free cash to the street lighting account in the amount of $137,000? Councilor Janino?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Guanasso?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor McKenna?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Morabito is absent. Councilor Novoselsky?
No.
No. Councilor Powers?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Rotundo?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Sereno?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Visconti?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Zambudo?
Yes.
Yes. And Council President Keith?
Yes.
Yes, the appropriation has been approved. Shall the City Council approve the fiscal year 2020 year-end transfers as reported by the City Auditor? Councilor Janino?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Guanasso?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor McKenna?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Morabito is absent. Councilor Novoselsky?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Powers?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Rotundo?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Sereno?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Visconti?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Zambudo?
Yes.
Yes. And Council President Keith?
Yes.
Yes, the transfers have been approved. Calendar item number 20, communication from the mayor requesting an appropriation from the Community Improvement Trust Fund for the Riverfront Master Plan Study.
I think you skipped 19.
19 is the communication from the city auditor.
Patrick.
You're not getting it there, Rick.
My hand was blocking it. Calendar item number 19, communication from the city auditor requesting a transfer of funds from the police detail account to the police equipment account.
Thank you. So the city has a policy of used their cruisers for some of the night details up on Route 1 to make it safe for details when they're doing road work, and we get $50 a car per night, and over the year that has accumulated $38,000, which has been routinely appropriated from the detail account to the capital equipment account for replacement of cruisers. So this was just the accumulation of those fees over the fiscal year 2020. So we're just asking for that money to be moved into the capital account so we can purchase a new cruiser.
Thank you, Mr. Viscay. Any councilors? Roll call.
Shall the city council approve an appropriation from the police detail account to the police new equipment account in the amount of $38,000? Councilor Janino?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Guanasso?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor McKenna?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Morabito is absent. Councilor Novoselsky?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Powers?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Rotundo?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Sereno?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Visconti?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Zambudo?
Yes.
Yes. And Council President Keefe?
Yes.
Yes, the transfer has been approved.
Thank you very much.
Calendar item number 20, communication from the mayor requesting an appropriation from the Community Improvement Trust Fund for the Riverfront Master Plan Study.
Roll call. Oh, Council Powers.
Thank you, Mr. President. These are monies in two different categories, really. One is for the Riverside section, Mills Avenue. As you know, because of your help, the city council's help, we rezoned that property down there to limit it to single-family homes. One of the other things we're looking to do now is to dredge the area down there with regard to depth and what can go there with regard to a pier. What I'd like to see happen down there is the city purchase that property, tie it in with Gibson Park for community boating. I think it'd be an ideal spot to do that. It's long been a bone of contention with the residents down there and certain developers that have come into the city and tried to overbuild down there, for lack of a better word. And that's something that should never happen down there. And my feeling is that if we do the site survey, we do the engineering analysis down there, and we do the preliminary planning, that the best use for that boatyard is, in my opinion, probably and something that I think the residents down there would really enjoy, a community boating area. And it's been pretty much cleaned up now. There's still a little more that has to happen. But and then the other part of this is to put a nice mural on the underpass there as you come in from Lynn. Depicting the City of Revere, what it is, what that section is, and also to put brand new American flags from the area at Revere Street all the way up to Carey Circle, because that's an area that's become actually more beautiful day by day, the more work that's being done down there. And I think that that'd go a long way in making it looking even more pristine down there. So I hope that my colleagues will support this, and we'll move ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor McKenna wishes to speak on this? Oh, the next one, I apologize. We do have any other councilors? We do have one attendee wishing to speak, Mr. Lampedecchio.
Lampedecchio, 43 Tapley Avenue. It's really exciting to hear that the city is actually looking to pursue this motion. I know Councilor Rotundo had proposed a similar motion probably about 4 years ago. and that property's been a blight for years. So I'm glad that it's finally getting addressed. Just a couple of points of information. That property is currently zoned LI, limited industrial. It's not zoned, still a concern for some residents down there. And regarding dredging the river, there was a study by the Army Corps of Engineers that came out in the late 80s, early 90s that found metals at the bottom of the river. So I'm not sure how much more that's going to lead to in terms of cost for this study. Hopefully the city can consider that in the study and just make sure that anything that is dredged, there's a lot of concern from a few residents down there about stirring up the sediment at the bottom of the river from all the years of pollution from Wheelabrator across the river. So just please, that's all I would ask. Thank you.
Great points. Thank you very much. Council Powers?
Yeah, Mr. President, with regard to the zoning down there, that's something that was amended by the city council. It is currently zoned for single family only. I know there've been some comments made down there about two-family and apartments and this and that. That's not going to happen down there, at least not on my watch. And as far as dredging, I think this is something that should be done. It'll work toward perhaps down the road getting a community boating program going down there. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor. And we'll do a roll call on this, but I just wanted to point out that I really could use a public launch, and this would be a great opportunity to create some community boating, kayaking, all sorts of water activities over there. And then the second big point is no one can do any dredging anymore without all the major DEP sign-offs and EPA, you name it. So that would have to be taken care of.
Well, that's what we're looking to do with this money. Thank you.
So all in favor? Roll call.
Aye.
Shall the City Council approve an appropriation from the Community Improvement Trust Fund in the amount of $60,000 for the Riverfront Master Plan project planning and beautification? Councilor Janino?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Guanasso?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor McKenna?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Morabito is absent. Councilor Novoselsky?
Yes, no? Councilor?
It's frozen.
Next.
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Powers?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Rotundo? Yes. Councilor
Yes.
Sereno?
Yes.
Yes.
Hello?
Councilor Visconti? Councilor Zambudo?
Yes.
Yes. And Council President Keith?
Yes.
Yes, the appropriation has been
Did she
approved.
say yes?
Yes.
Oh, did you count me?
Yeah. I got you. Calendar item number 21, communication from the mayor, requesting an appropriation from the Community Improvement Trust Fund for the construction of a community garden in Beachmont. Councilor Janino. I'm sorry.
Councilor McKenna?
Thank you, Mr. President. We have an empty lot that's, it's non-buildable on Broadsound Ave, and the money will pay for 16 beds, irrigation for water usage, a chain link fence that surrounds the property, fruit bushes along the back fence, and it would be beneficial for the residents to grow food there. I want to thank the mayor for doing this, and I want to thank Elle Baker for her hard work and planning. Her and I, she did most of the work, but I gave her the idea, so I just want to thank her for pushing this forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor McKenna. Any of the councils? And we have an attendee, Mr. Lampadecchio. Did you wish to speak, or was your hand still raised?
No, I do. Thank you. I'll keep it brief. Eric Lampadecchio, 43 Tapley Avenue. I think there's some residents in that area that are really looking forward to this park, and I know that it's done a great job at unifying some of the other neighborhoods. So I got the chance to be a part of the Gibson Garden Group when they.
I think we lost you, Eric. So Mr. Lampadecchio is in favor. Roll call.
Shall the City Council approve an appropriation from the Community Improvement Trust Fund in the amount of $25,000 to construct a community garden on Broadsound Avenue? Councilor Janino?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Guanasso?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor McKenna?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Morabito is absent. Councilor Novoselsky?
Councilor.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Councilor Powers?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Rotundo? Yes. Councilor Sereno?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Visconti?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Zambudo?
Yes.
Yes. And Council President Keith?
Yes.
Yes, the appropriation has been approved.
Motions.
Calendar item number 22, motion presented by Councilor Rotundo, that the mayor request the Office of Strategic Planning and Economic Development to create an ordinance that allows for urban and vertical farming. Further, to help spur development, that the city offer a TIF to any startup willing to make Revere its home.
Councilor Rotundo, I know you're going to speak on a few and probably just speak for itself on a few. Councilor Rotundo, you have 6 motions. Just
You really want to stop me?
Thank you, Councilor.
You want to stop me?
Councilor?
I'm in pain. Don't stop me.
Councilor Rotundo?
Thank you, honey. Sorry, Mr. President, when you're a nurse, you use the word honey quite a bit. All right, quite frankly, the evolution of vertical technology is going to help bear some of the burden on a lack of food supply within our country and in our community. Actually, a friend of mine had suggested possibly also seeing if we could get the school involved in something of this nature to help provide food and resource for our schools. But this is something that I'd like to do. In particular, if you take a look at Wonderland, that would be a perfect place for it. Necco would have been a perfect place for it, as it was an 800,000 square foot facility. So I would rather have this here. I mean, if you take a look out at the western part of the state in Harvard and Devons, you've got Aero Farms that has a huge facility. And I would like to see if we could attract something of that nature. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. All in favor? Aye, so ordered.
Calendar item number 23, motion presented by Councilor Rotundo, that the mayor request the Office of Strategic Planning and Economic Development to investigate the feasibility of establishing community development corporations.
Councilor.
Speaks for itself.
All in favor? So ordered.
Calendar item number 24, motion presented by Councilor Rotundo, that the mayor be requested to investigate the feasibility of establishing an ambulance service.
Councilor Rotundo.
To please the president, I will say speak for itself.
Thank you, Councilor, and I think that this is something they can definitely review. All in favor? So ordered.
Calendar item number 25, Councilor Janino requested that this motion be tabled via email.
Table this.
Calendar item number 26, motion presented by Councilor Guanasso, that the mayor requests the MBTA to spray the property at the railroad tracks adjacent to Pierce Street at the request of the area residents.
Councilor Guanasso.
At that area at Pierce Street, it's an infestation from the railroad tracks of thousands of mosquitoes. We just need some help from the MBTA to do the spraying. And I hope that they come as soon as possible. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor. Any other councilors? All in favor? So ordered.
Calendar item number 27, motion presented by Councilor Novoselsky, that the mayor requests National Grid to install a new street light on pole 4495 at 172 Kimball Ave with a 48 LED lamp.
Councilor Novoselsky.
I'm sorry. There's a location that's very dark. Councilor Rotundo happens to know where it is, across the street from his where he lives. And it is a very dark intersection, and I went by there and I just, it needs it. There's a pole there, and all we have to do is put the light on. So light up that intersection.
Want to turn it up? Thank you, Councilor. Any other councilors? All in favor? So ordered.
Calendar item number 28, motion presented by Councilor Rotundo, that the city of Revere look into the feasibility of citywide Wi-Fi.
Councilor.
Again, to please you, this is pretty self-explanatory, so speaks for itself.
Speaks for itself. All in favor? So ordered.
Calendar item number 29, motion presented by Councilor Rotundo, that the City Council order to a public hearing the following amendment to the revised ordinances of the City of Revere. Section 1, 9.28.020, establishment of a Human Rights Commission. Any commissioner appointed by the mayor and confirmed by the City Council can be recalled by majority vote of the City Council. Section 2, 9.28.020, establishment of a Human Rights Commission. The executive director appointed by the mayor and confirmed by the City Council can be recalled by majority vote of the City Council.
Councilor.
Speaks for itself.
Speaks for itself. Would this go into committee, or? So this would be ordered to a public hearing on August 24th. All in favor? So ordered.
Calendar item number 30, motion presented by Councilor Rotundo that the mayor request the building department to provide the city council with all violations written from March 1st, 2020 to present.
Speaks for itself. Thank you,
Speaks for
Councilor.
itself.
All in favor? So ordered.
Calendar item number 31, motion presented by Councilor Rotundo that the mayor provide the city council with the actual dollar amount of all building fines issued from March 1st to present.
Speaks for itself.
All in favor? So ordered.
Calendar item number 32, motion presented by Councilors McKenna, Keefe, and Janino that the city council present a certificate of commendation to Robert Lasalla on the occasion of his retirement after 42 years of service in the public schools.
Councilor McKenna.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll make this short. I just want to say that 42 years is a long time to be in service at the Revere Public Schools, and Robert Lasalla should be definitely rewarded for this. So I'll save my comments for his night. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilor. And likewise, all in favor? So ordered.
Calendar item number 33, motion presented by Councilor Sereno that the mayor request Capital Waste to appear before the city council to discuss consistent missed trash and yard waste pickups.
Councilor Sereno.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll save my remarks for that night. Hopefully they'll show up. But yeah, thank you.
Right, thank you. And I've gotten a number of those calls as well, so thank you for this motion, Councilor. All in favor? So ordered.
Calendar item number 34, motion presented by Councilor Keefe that the mayor request the DPW to paint and clean up Route 1 overpasses on Mountain and Park Avenues.
Thank you. And this is just what they say. I believe this is going to go through some sort of a request, but I wanted to put it formally in front of the council. All in favor? So ordered.
Calendar item number 35, motion presented by Councilor Guanasso that the mayor request the DCR to station additional lifeguards and install more trash receptacles on Revere Beach.
Councilor.
Very briefly, Mr. President, it seems like the lifeguards, the people on the left side of the bathhouse, the new bathhouse, have to know how to swim or not get injured because there's no lifeguards there, yet everybody to the right of it is lifeguards. And with the additional people that I see on the beaches these past several weeks, they certainly need more trash receptacles in order for people to put their trash in. So I don't think that's very costly to put more receptacles. So I ask this to be done as soon as possible.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Rotundo.
Thank you. I agree with Councilor Guanasso. In fact, I would even implore them that they get a second AED down there and have a second aid station down by the farthest bathhouse. There is little to no available lifeguards in that area as far as I'm concerned. There are a lot of people that congregate and enjoy Revere Beach there. This is a matter of public safety and well-being, and I would hope that the DCR would listen and do this not in a month from now, but immediately. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. And I just want to, Councilor Gino, do you wish to speak? Okay. I just wanted to bring out the fact that it's been well known over the last couple of years, lifeguards are in high demand, and there's just not enough of them. So I know that there's some Revere residents that actually help run the program with the DCR and the lifeguards, and they're always looking for them. I know the training's a little long, and so some kids may have missed the boat on training, but I know that they want to have more lifeguards out there. They're just not, there's not many of them to supply for all the beaches and parks in the state. So if you have a lifeguard certification and you can get in touch with the DCR, they probably have a job for you. All in favor? So ordered.
Calendar item number 36, motion presented by Councilor Janino that the City Council forward a letter of support to our state delegation for House Bill 4264, an act relative to environment justice in the Commonwealth, and Senate Bills 464, an act relative to environmental justice and toxics reduction in the Commonwealth, and 453, an act relative to environmental justice in the Commonwealth, which are all important legislation that will protect communities from additional pollution, reduce public health inequities in overburdened communities, and increase access to government and information. It is noted that Councilor Sereno is recused from discussion on this motion.
Councilor Janino.
Thank you, Mr. President. So this is an issue I've worked with the Community Action Networks for, just formerly Toxic Action, for a while now, and these are really great pieces of legislation, and the key word in this is to reduce public health inequities in overburdened communities. And that's so important because as a city, the city of Revere, we are a coastal community, we have our marsh, which is an area of critical environmental concern, our beautiful beach, and legislation like this will protect us from the different environmental concerns that could come forward in the future, and is just a really good safeguard for our community and for our own environmental justice. So I know that we have some champions on the State House that will hopefully support us in this, but I just want to show them that as a city council, we have their back because this is something that I'm really passionate about and I hope is approved tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other councilors? All in favor? So ordered. We have two more. Everyone settle down. Two more.
Calendar item number 37, motion presented by Councilor Rotundo, that the mayor request the city solicitor and city planner to draft a zoning ordinance relative to urban agriculture and community farms and gardens in the city of Revere. Attached is the urban agriculture ordinance for the city of Somerville, which would be a very good model for the city of Revere to follow.
Councilor Rotundo.
Speaks for itself.
All in favor?
I think I have a fan club on the other side of the aisle here.
All in favor?
I know I'm getting nice memes.
Councilor, all in favor? So ordered. One more, hold on. We have a late motion.
Sorry, and there's one late communication from the mayor's office regarding a land swap for the Point of Pines Fire Station.
Mr. President.
This is going to be placed into committee. This is going to go to Legislative Affairs. So this is ordered to, Councilor Powers?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. That's a land swap that'll allow the Point of Pines Fire Station to be extended beyond its length now. That will enable the fire department someday to put a ladder truck or a tower truck in there to provide for public safety for the residents in the Point of Pines and on Revere Beach Boulevard, and basically all throughout the city. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor. So this is going to be placed to Legislative Affairs. All in favor? So ordered. Everyone have a great evening. The next scheduled meeting will be on August 24th. Enjoy some of the nice weather and continue to stay vigilant. Thank you very much. Have a great night.